In this episode, I'm going to run through two different variations of how to set up a plot of land in Splinterlands. One from scratch, and two if it already has a work site built on it. And I'm going to compare and contrast the two. So if you're new to Splinterlands and just jumping in and want to get into the land game, or if you're an old hat, you may pick up something too. So please stick around. Hey, all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon, once again, saying thanks for dropping by. As always, I appreciate the time you spend with me. Please leave a like on the video if you like this kind of content, and please think about subscribing if you aren't already. Appreciate it. Okay, on with the content. Okay, so I've been asked this question a few times over the last several weeks because there's a lot of people that are coming into Splinterlands. There's a lot of hype around the new card set, Conclave Arcana, that's getting ready to come out. So I figured I would take this time to go ahead and, just put out a short video here that shows people how to get up and running in the land game in Splinterlands if you want to do so. Okay. First of all, I'll start out by saying if you don't play Splinterlands or haven't, you want to try it out, go ahead and use my ambassador code in the show notes and get yourself some free packs and some other goodies to get yourself started off good. And then the natural evolution is you try out the game for free, and then if you decide to go ahead and get in, you buy a $10 spellbook. It's not much. It gets you up and running with a Hive account, and you can do other things such as buy land. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Okay, so with that said, in prior episodes, we've kind of discussed how to go in and buy land. So let's just say that you went ahead and used my ambassador code. You tried the game out, you want to jump in, and you're playing cards, you're doing fine, you're getting psyched up for the new set, and then you hear people talking about the land game. So you start investigating and you're like, wow, what's this going on? So what is it? Well, the land game is at this point a resource management game at its bare roots. Okay, you buy property, you take cards that you buy in the game, and you stake them on the property to work the property. Each card, depending upon the variety, the rarity, the several different factors, will give you a certain amount of production points. The more production points, usually the more money you're putting into the cards, but also the more that of whatever that land they are on produces, such as grain, wood, etc. Okay, let's take that one step further. Say for instance, you say, Bronze Dragon, I'm one step ahead of you. I already went in and I went under for sale. I checked out some different property in different locations. I found the listing here, and I found a great deal on a natural lake common. It was almost $18. I went ahead and bought it. What should I do now? Okay, the first distinction I will make is, taking a step back here a minute, whenever you go to buy your land, I want to reiterate this because it makes a decent little difference. If you go over on peakmonsters.com and check under the land tab, one of the further details they have next to the land for sale tells you if that land has anything on it, whether it has a building in the box, or you can check for work sites that are actually already built on them. So I will sort by, the grain work site, grain farm. And this will tell me if these lands, since I sorted by grain farm, I can see that these lands actually have a grain farm built on them. And they also have building in a box. And I'm not going to jump into that right now, but suffice it to say that if you buy that on the piece of land, and you get a good deal compared to the land that doesn't have it on there. Say, for instance, let's go back and deselect that. So you can see that these all have building in the box. However, some do not. You can look at these that are just blank. Okay, so I won't go into the details. If you're interested, I'll link the white paper, the land white paper, and you can check this out. Some of the advantages to like building in a box and such have been used already, but some they are other options that can pop up. The main thing, or what do I want to say, there are a few other packages that can be attached to the land. Suffice it to say that if they have extra packages on the land and it's only a few bucks more than a regular piece of land that does not have any of those packages on it, or the work site such as grain farm, that's a better deal. So go for that. It'll save you time. That was just a little side note I wanted to throw in there. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of foot up if you're shopping for land. Okay, we are jumping right into the example I have planned. Okay, so we're over in region 133, Ravenwood, which I still think sounds like a cool name. And you can see that all these lands that I own, I have one here that does not have a work site on it. It is a rare river, and we're going to go ahead and click into it. And you can see that it is undeveloped. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through how to develop this. And on this episode, I'm going to use a slightly different tactic. Well, let me say this. There are a few different main things that you have to plan before you go to develop your land. Okay, so the first thing you have to think about is the cards you're going to put on it. And you need to reference the white paper for different production points for those cards. Okay, we're over here on the Secret of Praetoria land white paper, and as far as I know, these numbers haven't changed, but the base idea is as you go up in rarity from common, rare, epic, legendary, the cards will provide more production power. Of course, usually they cost a little bit more as well. You also get bonuses here depending upon if you're using a regular foil or a gold foil. Now, the second thing I will note is that if you use older cards such as Alpha, Beta, or Untamed, you also get a base production multiplier. So if you can grab some good deals on cards that are in any of the older sets or are gold foils, they're prime candidates if you're not using them to play with to stick them on land. Okay, so other than cards, you need to think about DEC because you will need dark energy. It's not an outright payment as you're just staking the DEC on your land to be able to have the dark energy to work the land. Think about it as a savings account. If you want to turn off the production on your land, you can always take it out. But then if you aren't fully staked for all the production power you have on the land, then your land will only produce to a certain percentage. So if you have cards on the land and you only have it 50% as far as your dark energy goes, then you're only going to be able to harvest 50% of what the land gives you. So let's go ahead and jump in. There are a few other factors here that we will find out as we go through here. But as you go in, you also have to consider a few other things. So you're going to need a power source, which once again costs DEC. So what we can do is we can scroll down here and we can click on power source. And we don't have one handy. So what we're going to do is we are going to buy a power core. Go over here and we can see that we can buy with DEC, DECB, or credits. So if you don't have any DEC, you're brand new to the game, you can always use credits if you want. So we're going to buy one, and I am going to just use DEC because I have that handy. There are other things that can power your land plot, but we're not going to go over that in this episode. We just need a power core to go ahead and run our land. So we are going to go ahead and look at cards next. We will go ahead and add that power core first, and that sets it up here. The next thing we have are 5 slots to fill with cards. Okay, now there are 2 additional card slots here. Well, they're not for cards, but if you have titles, which higher end players and generally people that seriously play the game have titles, will give you a bonus as well, or artifacts. And we're going to take a look at totems, which is another thing that I want to put on. Okay, now that we have the power core, now I'm wondering, well, who's going to work my land? So I'm going to approach this a little bit differently than I have in the past. In the past, I have outright bought cards to go ahead and work the land. And my strategy has generally changed a little bit over time. I started off with max level gold foil commons Chaos Legion set, and I find that that's a very good value, although the price, well, frankly, the price on all the cards have went up lately. So, and then I kind of modified that and started doing single BCX Chaos Legion gold foil epics, but once again, the cost went up on them and the liquidity of them. There's just not a whole lot on the market right now. So, for first of all, this wasn't my idea. I got this idea off of Discord. Somebody was talking about it. So we're actually going to rent some cards, which is a prime plan for a new player who doesn't have a whole lot of cards to spare, to go ahead and get this site up and running. So let's quickly jump back over here to my land. If you scroll down on your land, you can see what your elemental synergies are. And this is pretty much a good plan to stick with. So this is a river. And if I use earth or water, then I get a 10% boost. Conversely, if I use fire or dragon, I get a 50% decrease. So you definitely want to stay away from those. There are some arguments for using neutral cards because neutrals don't have any plus or minus, but they can be used on any land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for earth or water. So let's jump back into the market, go back into rent cards where we were, and then we're on beta, gold foil, and I'm going to filter by water and earth. Furthermore, I didn't really find any deals, so I went ahead and widened my search. I'm looking at gold foil legendaries under life and earth, and I'm searching through. So I see that I can rent a Phantom of the Abyss from the Untamed set, and that would give me 50,000. So I think I'm going to go ahead, and that's 20 DEC per day. Let's look at a few more. It's 35. Let's just rent a collection of these. So if I do one of these, and that's 4, that's 5. Let's see how that's going to go. And recently they took away the ability to actually rent per day, so I'm going to have to rent for a whole season. Let's look what this price is going to be. So that's going to be 655 DEC to rent for roughly 2 weeks, 14 days. So that's about 65 cents US currently. So let's go ahead and do it. After the land gets up and running, then I'll decide what cards I actually put on the land. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to land. Go back to Ravenwood, go back into this land we were talking about, manage. Put our power source back on here. And I don't really have an idea of how much DEC this is going to take. So we're going to go ahead and add the various cards here. So I'm going to add the Phantom of the Abyss. It goes in that slot. I have an Endless Gibbon. Gold foil, Zebigen, Ease of the Fanged. Okay, here's Ease of the Fanged, and one more, a Queen Mycelia. We'll put her in there, and we'll see that I have 13,750 production. So I will need to have at least 13,750 DEC staked. So let's go ahead and go up here to Total Dark Energy and click on it. Oops. Okay, 13,750. Go ahead and stake it. This will give us the dark energy we need. Okay, we've got the dark energy that we need. We've added our cards, our energy crystal to power it. The last thing I will say consider is whether you want to buy a totem on the market. I have some totems, so I switched a totem off of one of my common plots because this rare plot will be making more food, so it's better served being on a rare plot. But you can go on the market and buy totems. You can also buy totem fragments if that happens to be cheaper. You just need a number of fragments and put them together to create a whole totem. So for instance, a common totem takes 10 common totem fragments. If you can buy 10 common fragments for less than the price of one common totem, then it's better to go with them, combine them, you got yourself a totem, and so forth. 8 for rare, 6 for epic, and 4 for legendary if you're going to go that far. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on that and put this common totem here that I have. And then we are going to go ahead and save changes and continue. And then it gives me a breakdown. It tells me that I will have 13,750 production power per hour. And I'm just looking over the numbers. We will confirm. Okay, and now you can see your checklist up in the left corner. The third part is build worksite. We have to pick which worksite we want to go ahead and build. Now, this is a grain producing land, which you can once again also found in the white paper, and you can also see it on where you actually buy the land. Back over on Peak Monsters, you can see what resource actually is grown or is harvested on that land, and that is the type of work site you would want to go. So lake or river, you're going to want to go with a grain farm. So we will select that. Now, here's where you run into another option. You have the option of letting the workers you staked on your land go ahead and build this work site. It's just going to take time. Depending upon how much production power you have, the more production power, the less time it's going to take. Or you can buy time crystals. They will cost a certain amount of money. You can buy them on the market. You can buy them from the game. It's usually cheaper to buy them on the secondhand market, just like you would cards. But at this point in time, I feel that I'm just going to go ahead and let the cards work the work site because the cost is a little bit prohibitive. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and if there was a reason, for some reason you needed this land up and running today, then time crystals would be the route you could take. But I am not going to take that. I'm just going to go ahead and click build. Okay, now we can see that the build is started. Get my head out of the way here. And we can see the timing. So it looks like this will take just less than 5 days. Okay, and then if you click the speed up, it's going to have you buy some time crystals. Now, that is the route you would take if you bought the plot of land and it didn't have any work site on it. Now, I wanted to give you a brief comparison here because I have another plot of land here that I just bought and it did have a work site on it. So we're going to run through that really quickly. We can see here that it is a rare forest. Currently, it has a shard mine on it. Before a recent change, a big change in the game, you could basically harvest grain, SPS, and research on basically any of the different plots, right? After this recent last change, well, I say recent, but it was about 3 weeks ago at this point, you are limited to what that land can actually produce. Back to what I was talking about, a lake or river would be grain, okay? A forest can't produce grain. It can't produce SPS shards anymore. So what this tells me, if you see this, if you see a building with a work site on it that does not kind of jive with what type of land it is, it means that that land has not been harvested since that big change went into place. So what we're going to do, okay, just like before, I bought a power core. I'm going to add that. We're going to add some extra cards I have here. I have several extra Genbilkas at max level. So I'm going to use those. They are standard foil, but I have them extra right now, and they're just kind of doing nothing. So, and I threw this on there as well. So it did come out to 10,285, and I went ahead and I staked, once again, the DEC I need. So what we're going to do is go ahead and save changes. So apparently I didn't stake enough dark energy. It would require 32,215 more. But what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to go ahead and get this up and running. That means it will not be running at full power. And over time, I'm going to power it up by gradually adding DEC staking to this region. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and confirm. We're going to come over here to where it still says shard mine. We're going to click change. And we are going to change it to a logging camp. And once again, we're not going to use time crystals. This will take 1 day to change over. Okay, and you can see a little bit more than 1 day to change over. And you do have the option to use time crystals should you want to go ahead and speed that up. But once that gets up and running, it will be, I'll be able to harvest some logs off of it and wood. And like I said, over time I can add to my DEC staked in the region so I can bring everything up to 100%. If we jump back here and go up to production, we can see here that in my number 1 region, I'm not at 100% just because of what I just did. I'm only at 79%. But that's something I can take care of over time, because as I do my weekly harvests, I can sell some of the grain, some of the wood, and use that DEC that I make off of selling that to go ahead and increase my DEC staked in that region to bring it up to 100%. Okay, so this has been Bronze Dragon with a walkthrough on how to stake out 2 different types of land depending upon what kind of condition the land is when you buy it in. I hope this has helped. Please, like I said, leave comments if you have any questions. Also, we have a live stream for more than 2 years now. We've been meeting at 11:30 Eastern Time here on YouTube on Saturdays. Come by, talk Splinterlands. Like I said, everybody's looking forward to the new card set, and hopefully this video helped you out if you want to jump into the land game. As always, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and hey, I'll see you in the land within Splinterlands.